I realize that Proposition 20 is a state proposition. However, it has federal implications. Do you support Proposition 20, which is the removal of the elected representatives from the process of establishing congressional districts and transfer that authority to a redistricting commission?
Absolutely. I endorse Prop 20 wholeheartedly. This district, we're in District 7. They use the term gerrymander. I don't know how. I look at our district. It's Richmond to Vacaville, Concord to the south. It is very difficult to figure out for the voter. When I'm campaigning out there, many times the voter doesn't know which district they live in. And I say, well, George Miller's the one I'm running against. Is he your congressman? Oh yeah, no, it's Garamendi or whatever. That's how they figure it out. They don't know where they're at. I absolutely agree that it should be a nonpartisan, independent group that says, what makes sense? And I'm going to tell you, that's where my philosophy comes from in solving problems. Find a common goal, whether it's banking reform, cutting spending, cutting military spending. I'm a 21-year military guy. Regulation reform, all these different issues. Let's find common goals. We're going to disagree on how to get there. That's fine. But let's find common sense, practical solutions that work for today, work for tomorrow, are sustainable, and let's fix it that way. And I believe an independent commission coming together to draw lines that are going to make sense for voters is absolutely the right way to go. And democracy is about everybody's vote counting equally, not trying to figure out how to ensure somebody has a safe seat for the future and keeping people in power for a long time. It's the people that should be deciding. And so I think Prop 20 helps empower the voter, helps make sure that we are, as representatives, are accountable to the people, because we got to keep earning our job every election. If you don't like what I'm doing, you can get rid of me. That's fine. That's great about America. And if we have more competitive districts based on what makes sense and not necessarily party affiliation, then you're going to get, I think, more competitive races. You're going to get representatives that are more accountable to you, more connected to your issues, that are trying to earn your vote up in Washington instead of just taking you for granted. Thank you.
I don't support Proposition 20 because the makeup of the commission and the requirements. First of all, I think it's unconstitutional. It has a requirement that people of like incomes will live in one congressional district. You want to talk about a gerrymandered district if you're going to start running around trying to find people who can live on Russian Hill and get enough of them to create a congressional district. I've always supported a commission. I've supported a national commission to set down bipartisan, neutral rules on how congressional districts are drawn in this country, and have California and Texas and Illinois and Mississippi do it under those guidelines. That, to me, is fair. That will lead to competitive districts. I don't have a problem with a competitive district. And I think that that's the most important way. But to have California operate under this kind of commission with these cockamamie rules, and then have Texas be able to do it whichever way advantages them when they look at the National Congress, we saw that 5 years ago in Texas, I think is a huge mistake for California and its ability to fully participate in the Congress of the United States. And so I'm all for a commission, but this one is absolutely cockamamie. I would prefer Proposition 27 that gives it back to the legislature and then lets the people vote on whether they like it or not. Let the people make a decision about whether they like the districts or they don't like the districts.
Thank you. This question is for you, Congressman. The war in Afghanistan is about 10 years old now. Do you support the continuation of the war? And if not, what federal legislation would you support, or how would you propose to end it?
I would not support a continuation of the war. I think it's very clear that the ingredients that we owe our soldiers when we put them into combat to bring about a victory are not there. We're dealing with an incredibly corrupt government that is running the drug trade, which is helping to fund the Taliban, that is stealing taxpayer dollars to do their own private economic development in Kabul. You'll go see the Karzai developments. It looks like modern condominiums in La Jolla, California. That's American dollars. That's not for the people who we're trying to convert to democracy and participate in their government. The governments around Afghanistan are not helping us. NATO is leaving. India's not helping us. They're trying to make their stake vis-a-vis Pakistan. Russia's not helping us. China came in for one moment. They got the largest copper mine in Afghanistan, and we're providing the security for it. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Pakistan is clearly running a double game. They're supporting the Taliban. They have for years. They're supporting some of Al-Qaeda. They have for years because they want to use them as a tool against India. So they want to keep them alive to do that. But they're also giving them safe harbor in Pakistan. We've gone in with the drones. It's made the Pakistani people more against us because, unfortunately, we've killed some civilians. We've killed some Pakistani troops. And the fact of the matter is, the ingredients aren't there. When you vote, it's the toughest vote you'll ever take in the Congress of the United States. You better be assured that this is a plan that will work. I gave President Obama the opportunity to rejigger the plan with General Petraeus. Nothing's changed. General Petraeus' plan, they said, we're following what General Petraeus said about counterinsurgency. Well, if you were following his plan in Afghanistan, you wouldn't have 150,000 troops. You'd have 600,000 troops because that's what the manual calls for. This just isn't fair to our fighting people. And we're doing this. A decision was made, unfortunately, when we went to Iraq, when we went to Afghanistan, that there'd be no sacrifice by the people here at home. We just charged this to the deficit. I don't think we can continue to spend the treasury of the United States in Afghanistan under these circumstances, and I clearly believe we cannot spend the lives of our military in this situation. We owe them better than this. And the fact of the matter is, I support a policy that starts the process or the safe withdrawal of those troops, whatever time it takes to get them out, but to get them out and stop fooling ourselves that we're going to turn this into a 21st century democracy when we have the corruption that we have in this government and we're funding this with taxpayer dollars is an outrage. We're paying the Taliban to protect the trucks. The trucks get attacked. They charge us more. Then we pay the security, which is run by the Taliban, and that money is used to buy bullets if they don't steal them from the trucks to kill our soldiers. No, I'm out of this.
Okay, very good. The question related to funding of the war. I've been to that war. I've participated. I've been to Afghanistan. I've been to Pakistan. That was interesting because I had people on my airplane. I was the aircraft commander flying a C-17 right after the earthquake in Quetta. And there were folks on my airplane downloading that airplane that I knew were part of the bad guys. Just that was where we were at. But as we work in there, you're trying to make these new relationships with these people and win them over. Now, when I heard my congressman voted against the funding for me as a combat troop, it brought back the memory of those folks at Valley Forge wrapping their bloody feet in the snow. Because that's what the Continental Congress did to their troops, did not fund them. And the difference between George Miller and I is he says it can't be done. In the United States military, in the United States Air Force, I'm paid to get it done. Now, I absolutely agree that we have screwed up in our war in Afghanistan and Iraq. We have made some terrible mistakes. And the fact that we're there 9 years later is unacceptable to me as well. I would not, as a congressman, cut the legs out from the very troops that are defending my freedom over there. I would use my megaphone, I would talk about things, and I would take my military experience and I would go to my commander-in-chief, the president, and say, sir, this is what needs to happen. This is how we got to fix this. First thing we should have done in Afghanistan was sprayed weed killer on all those poppy fields. That was the first thing we should have done. And then paid those farmers and helped them to learn to build another crop. Yeah, I've got ideas to how to run that war differently, you bet. But to take away the support of the troops that are out there and somehow try to impose my will on a chain of command that I am not a part of is not the proper role of myself. It's a commander-in-chief in the military. And I tell you what, in the military, give me a mission, I will get it done. But define that mission for me. And that is our problem from Bush to Obama, that we haven't had that mission defined. And so it's tough to get it done when you don't know what you're supposed to do.
Thank you.